Добрий день.
Hello and welcome, Olga Tamanova with us, with you, and joining Ukrinform. And the aggression of the Russian Federation is still going on, and now we are going to speak about the situation in the Rivne region. We have Vitaliy, the head of Kyiv, of Rivne Regional Military Administration, online with us. Good afternoon, good afternoon. So I would like us to start our conversation with the current situation in the region and the winterization activities going on. Preparation for the heating season. Yes, it's true. Going through the heating season, autumn and winter season is always the challenge that we start preparing to, starting with the last day of the previous winter. And I can assure all of the audience that Rivne region has conducted this preparation to the 100% of its functionality, and the infrastructural system is prepared. And these warm days of autumn and the sunny days of summer enabled us to prepare very well indeed. So the social and the community utility system is all ready for the heating season to start. Speaking in numbers, 939 facilities, 217 residential houses, 60% of all of the communal facilities have been provided with generators, and these numbers grow day in and out, and we understand that the generators and accumulators will be indispensable in winter and autumn as well as spring. In addition to that, we are also preparing and doing a lot of work for securing infrastructural facilities, and every day the security is intensifying, and we are looking confidently to the beginning of the season. Concerning the objects of critical infrastructure, have you completed all of the repair works that you have been planning? Yes, all of the repair works have been completed. And from the budget of different levels, about 200 million hryvnias have been utilized. This is the heating systems, the boiler rooms, and all of the measures planned for the 1st of October have been implemented. You've spoken about providing generators. Can we say confidently that all of the hospitals have already been provided in Rivne region with generators? Yes, in terms of generator provision, we are moving along two tracks. First, we provide for the facilities themselves, and secondly, we also accumulate the strategic supply of generators in the storages that refer to the regional military administration and to state emergency service. So this algorithm proved very useful and helpful last year. So if a large infrastructural facilities, if they consume 400, 350 kilowatt of electricity and they remained without power supplies, units of state emergency services would go there and connect them. It doesn't make sense to keep such equipment because it's inefficient and very expensive, but the interim storage facilities, which are controlled by the military regional administration and the state emergency service of Ukraine, if the storage facilities are insured, then this is really very good indeed. Last year, we understand, Mr. Vitaliy, that the points of unbrokenness or invincibility that were equipped in all of the regions of Ukraine demonstrated themselves in a very good way. So what about Rivne region? Are you ready to unfold the activities in such points of unbrokenness? Yes, I can confirm that in Rivne region, 44,000 citizens took advantage of the services provided by the points of unbrokenness. They were not just unbrokenness points, but points of communication and information exchange and swap, because the services that at these points could be utilized, starting with getting a cup of hot tea and charging your gadgets. This was all very well indeed. Nowadays, we have 296 such invincibility points equipped in Rivne region, which are prepared for full operations. Some of these points especially equipped by the socially responsible businesses, are ready to unfold these points within 1 to 3 hours, because we have been working with the functionality of these points of unbrokenness. We understand how quickly they can be unfolded. So we understand the worse the situation with energy supplies will get in Ukraine, the more reliable will be this unfolding of unbrokenness points. And we are very much hopeful that, of course, we are hopeful that energy facilities will be working, but we are ready for the worst case scenarios. How prepared do you think the population is ready for winter, and how much are you helping the most vulnerable groups of population, perhaps providing them with the chopped wood and some other forms of energy supplies? We have to recognize that being aware and being prepared for winter, all of the activities for winterization, the majority of the Ukrainian citizens have taken all of the measures in order to prepare well for heating season, and they took care of that during summer times. We see all of the necessary supplies of chopped wood, and the State Forest Agency is supplying all of the needs and wants of the population are met. And other kinds of solid fuel, we're talking about coal, peat. Our greatest challenge is to take care of the most vulnerable groups of population. We have special meetings at the local community levels, and that's exactly what we constantly reiterate here: geriatric centers, senior homes. The people, particularly who cannot provide for themselves, they are in the focus of our attention. Mr. Vitaliy, we know that Rivne region has become a shelter for a lot of housing and hosting region for a lot of IDPs. So what is the situation like in the fields? How many IDPs are you hosting nowadays? And what problems are you faced with? Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, Rivne region became the second home to 80,000 internally displaced persons. As of now, we have about 50,000 IDPs remaining in our region. And we take it as a new batch of IDPs to our region. So these are new residents to the population of our region. They have adapted well, and I thank them for staying with us. They're trying to find employment, especially the ones that are renting houses, flats, rooms. And we can see that they are adapting very well with the local communities. People are going to school. Their parents are joining the labor force. And in terms of medical personnel, about 140 medical personnel out of the IDPs are right now employed within the medical system and infrastructure of the whole region, and some of them are highly professionals who have amplified our medical system and have raised it to a level higher. In every area, there are very strong, potent specialists, both communal workers, teachers, true professionals in every area of expertise. Thank you. We have some questions in the studio. Good afternoon. I'm from Ukrinform. In the region, there are 52 communities out of 64 that have allocated funding to equipping and protection of the borders and taking the circular security and defenses around settlements and villages. Is the same being provided for in the next year's budget? And the second question is about Mr. Tretyak, because the court denied his appeal against the decision taken previously concerning dismissing him from his job. So how do you think it will affect the city? The city is remaining without the mayor. There are, of course, local council representatives. But how impactful do you think it will be on this whole situation in the city? Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Indeed, we have had a very successful experiment concerning establishment of the security budget at the level of the regional budget. Let me remind you that 64 communities had their own town hall meetings in 2023, and they decided that establishing the borders with Belarus is not a matter of concern of the 6 communities along the border, but it's a matter of concern for all of the communities, and 23 capable communities allocated money. It's 364 million of Ukrainian hryvnias as part of this defense budget. We provide for all of the material aspects of the defense guardian forces. So this has been a very active year concerning ramification of the fortifications within the region. As for the next year, we are right now processing the needs. And in the nearest future, we will understand the support that we will get from the state budget earmarked for this area, and if need should be, then in the nearest terms, we will be convening representatives of local communities. And at this point, I would like to extend my gratitude to the local councils and to territorial community representatives. There have been special sessions in communities, and the decisions were unanimous. So there was this unity to be able to withstand such challenges. So we will definitely be able to do it always in unity and in harmony, because number one for us is to achieve victory. Concerning your second question, let me assure you, in terms of the heating system, this situation is not going to impact it, because the structure of authority in any kind of a region has to be based on the principles of sustainability and seamlessness. All of the utility system in the city of Rivne is being prepared and works to 100% of its potential. So right now we have a regional center working very well indeed. We do not see any disruptions. We don't see any shortages in the budget. Therefore, the city council and the secretary of the executive commission are sure that everything will be okay during this heating season. And Mr. Vitaliy, one more question concerning the educational process in the region. What is the specificity of it this year? Have you managed to make sure that all of the educational facilities could work on offline? Yes, let me remind you, we have 229 kilometers with Belarus and the so-called 40-kilometer area of dangerous area near this border. And due to that, this has stopped us from being able to enable 100% offline format for all of the school children and educational institutions to revert to. Basically, right now, across the whole region, offline format is implemented for the prevalent majority of schools and some of the institutions. Because of the great number of pupils, there is a mixed form. Some of the school children have to go and study in shifts. Some of them study online, others study offline. But overall, we have the sustainability of the educational process in place. Children are already familiar with this and are used to it. So the territorial communities are providing for the sustainability of this process, and local authorities have been helping with that. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Let me remind you, Vitaliy Koval, the head of the Rivne Regional Military Administration, has just been with us, and the next our briefing will take place at 13:30. We'll be talking about the current situation in Chernihiv region. Let's work towards gaining victory and supporting our security and defense forces. Glory to Ukraine.